came crashing down on your life, you were the $130 million superstar. Everyone loved you. You were one of the most thrilling players in the history of the NFL, many said. Right. Again, be honest with me. What kind of person did that turn you into? Suddenly going from nothing, the projects in Virginia, to this incredible superstar life. Yeah. Did it make you somebody that now you don't really recognize?
Yeah, it did. And, you know, growing up and being raised with outstanding morals and values, you know, that was instilled in me from my mom, you know, my dad. You know, I sort of became a person that I didn't really know. You know, I was always humble, always respectful, and I continue to stay that way. But at some point, some splash of arrogance, I think, overtook me. And I can honestly say I let money change me, in a sense. And, you know, anytime that happens, that's a recipe for disaster. And it led me down a dark road.
I mean, you know, you say money changed you. I think it would change anybody, that kind of money. Never mind somebody who's had literally nothing. Yeah. To suddenly get $130 million attached to your name.
At 24 years old, that was a lot. You know, and being 32 now and looking back, I just understand the magnitude of, you know, how my life changed so much. And, you know, I had all the right people around me, giving me the right advice. It was just Mike's world. I wanted to do it my way and my way only. And, you know, like I said, it's just a situation where you kind of lose sight of what's right and you know, head down the dead-end road.
That day in 2007 when the police raided this house, they took 66 dogs away and the dead bodies of 8 more. What did you think the moment you heard this had happened?
I was on the golf course and, you know, probably playing one of the best games of my life, and I just immediately thought that everything was going to come crashing down. And, you know, 5 seconds later, started to think of how could I turn it around? What could I do? What could save me and salvage the situation? But I knew that it was the investigation was going to be deeper, and, you know, somebody was going to try to figure out what was going on. So immediately I was just trying to find out what I could do to get myself out of it and try to turn that corner.
You lied to the NFL bosses and you expressed bitter regret for that. They were decent people who deserved better. You've admitted that in the book. What about your family? Did you lie to them?
I lied to my mom. You know, she really didn't know what was going on. I think it heard, you know, just from people, you know, word of mouth that, you know, I was engaged in illegal activity. But, you know, she couldn't put a finger on it, and nobody else knew.
What was the moment you told your mother the truth?
I told her the truth the day I got a ring. And
that must have been another very difficult moment.
Yeah, it was very difficult.
How did she react?
She was just upset, disappointed. I think my mom cried for, you know, 4 or 5 days, you know, straight. And everybody else around me who, you know, loved me and cared about me, because they just didn't think that it would go that far. They didn't think I would end up going to prison eventually, and you know, it was a dramatic change for everybody's life.
There's a very poignant part of the book where you are on your way to prison with your then fiancée, I think she was. And you got married 2 weeks ago. Congratulations, but we'll come to the happy ending later. Tell me about that drive as you're heading towards incarceration.
You know, it's the longest drive ever. You know, I don't care if it's, you know, 100 miles away or 2 miles away. You know, you reflect on, you know, everything that you had, you know, everything that, you know, you won't have and what you're leaving. And, you know, you kind of got to, you know, wake yourself up and tell yourself that it's real.
And you cried. I mean, you were very emotional.
Yeah, I cried all the way to the prison. I mean, all the way up until I got out the car and you know, walked up to the guards and put my hands in handcuffs. And even then, you know, I still, you know, felt like at some point this was just a dream and I was going to not wake up, but somebody was going to come and, you know, relieve me.
When you got inside prison, for someone like you, you're this hugely famous, incredibly rich superstar, reduced to just the ranks of a number in a prison cell. As the days went on and reality kicked in, again, hard, right? I mean, those first few weeks.
Harder. First day was tough. Second day was tough. The third, fourth, and fifth day when it started to settle in that you're not going home and you're talking to your family and, you know, they're feeling the same way that you feel. It's no form of jubilation. It's, you know, all sadness, you know, from my sinister acts. There's no explanation for it. You know, it was no way of consoling anybody. It was no way of consoling myself. And the only thing we could do was be strong and deal with it. But it's hard to be strong sometimes, and, you know, we're only human. You know, and
see, the interesting thing about you is you're a very polarizing figure, as you know. You know, when I announced I was doing the interview, you know, on my Twitter, it went crazy, good and bad. Many people saying, good, the guy served his time, he deserves his redemption, you're playing better than you ever have. A lot of other people saying, I'll be honest with you, you know, don't have this guy on. He's a dog killer, he's a horrible human being, he's not reformed, all this kind of thing. You've seen the same. You're on Twitter, you probably have the same comments to deal with. What do you say to those who say the crime you did was just so awful, you shouldn't be even allowed to play football anymore?
You know, I overlook it. That's the reason I wrote this book. You know, so people can have a general understanding of my life, the origin of, you know, dogfighting, what I went through, because some of them may be naive and not know. And I try not to dwell on people's thoughts and their perception because I know I can't change what everybody thinks.
Do you blame them or do you understand it?
I understand it. I don't blame them. You know, I do believe that everybody's entitled to a second chance. I'm pretty sure those same people are, you know, not saints and haven't gone through their life and done everything right. You know, so, you know, you can't be hypocritical in a sense. You really got to take it for what it's worth. Now, if that person is a person who, you know, has lived their life with no regrets and done everything right and very successful, then I understand. You know, but, you know, it's a lot of sinister acts going on in this world. And this was a situation that needed attention. And that's why, you know, I'm working with the Humane Society, and there's a lot of other things that's going on that needs attention as well. So, that may be the reason that, you know, I went through what I went through to help other people not go through the situation I went through.
Let's take another break. I want to come back and talk about the good stuff that came after all this terrible stuff. The redemption, the career back on track, back with your family.
What I would say to anybody who's out there who's currently fighting dogs, it's not the right thing to do. Just read between the lines and understand that you're going to have a pet, you're going to have an animal, you need to treat it with the utmost respect. You know, do something more productive with your life instead of taking animals and conducting them in pointless activity.
That's from Michael Vick's new PSA for the Humane Society. He's back with me now. You've done lots of that stuff since you came back, and people say, good, you should do. Right. So I'm not going to overdo the credit for what I guess most people say is what the least you should be doing. What I'm interested in is how you felt when you came out of prison. Obviously a great day for you to get back with your family. There's a great passage in the book again when you're reunited with your daughter, who you hadn't actually seen for 6 months. And before that, she'd just seen you through this perspex screen.
Glass,
What was that moment like for you?
You know, I was elated, you know, to get back home to my family, you know, more than anything. You know, when I was in prison, we struggled. And my family, you know, had to suffer through hardships that we never thought that we would have to endure. And, you know, to be home, to have the opportunity to make change, seeing my kids, you know, seeing my fiance at the time, you know, really gave me an opportunity, you know, to start to dream and believe again and have faith in, you know, that small, subtle thing. And seeing them that day, you know, gave me a sense of hope.
When you saw your little girl, and you're honest enough to admit that she sort of wasn't quite sure
Yeah, she was.
if this was daddy or not.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awful moment for any father. Did you vow to yourself, you know, I'm never going to put my kids in this sort of position again?
Oh, yeah, before I even got home, and I knew it was going to be that way. I could foresee it coming. You know, I said to myself that I would try to go each and every day, and I know it would be a struggle, and try to make the right decisions every day. And, you know, it's not going to be easy. You know, every day is going to be a challenge, and, you know, I understand, you know, we're always going to be a work in progress as human beings. But my goal was to not let my kids down, most importantly, not let my family and myself down.
You got married 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
To Kiafa, your fiancée, the long-suffering fiancée, as the book makes clear.
Long-suffering.
She stood by you,
right?
Despite it all. What do you feel you owe her?
Everything. You know, I feel like, you know, she's been there for me. She's raised, you know, both of my daughters to the best of my ability. She's great with my son. She's a, you know, great confidant, my best friend, and you know, always, you know, guide me whenever I'm off track, whenever I'm thinking irrational. You know, she helped me to think rational.
And is it true the security alone for your wedding cost $300,000?
It's false.
Eh?
That's false.
I mean, that.
Who has a $300,000?
Who were you having as security? I mean, the Delta Force? What were you doing?
I mean, nah, that's absurd. That's absurd.
How do you feel about your celebrity status, good and bad? The fact that you're not just perceived as a footballer, you're a notorious celebrity.
You know, I'm so appreciative of my fans. You know, I'm appreciative of people who aren't my fans. People in general, when I'm just out in the public, who say, you know, my team is the New York Giants, but I still like you. You know, that means a lot to me. And it makes me want to be personable. It makes me want to write the book so everybody can get a chance to know me.
Do you want to be liked again in the way you were before the dogfighting scandal, or is it more important to you to be understood better?
I think it's more important to be understood. You know, some people are going to like you, some people aren't. You know, just because of, you know, for certain reasons that are unexplainable, and I won't try to understand. But I think it's important that I'm understood, and people understand in a sense why.
You were banned from owning a dog for 3 years, and I worked out as I walked into the studio today that expires now, this month.
Right.
Have you got a dog?
Nah, I haven't got one.
You gonna get one?
Maybe so. Being honest, being candid, and you know, I still deal with my kids each and every day. You know, and for the last 3 years, not being able to have a dog because of my acts. And I just don't think that's fair. You know, it may be something that's therapeutic in that for them. And I can't take that dream away from them. That's selfish on my behalf. You know, so, you know, got to find a way to make it right. And, you know, I put everything in God's hands to make it right.
What type of dog would you get? Do you know? If you got it?
I mean, I would let them pick it out. It certainly wouldn't be a pit bull.
Michael, it's been fascinating talking to you. It's an extraordinary read, the book. It's a great story of a man learning his lessons.
Yeah.
You know, I believe everyone's entitled to a second chance in life, and I think that people that read the book will understand you better. And even by saying that, I'm going to get criticised by the people that don't think you deserve redemption, but I'm prepared to take that criticism. And also, I'm delighted to say that you helped me win £100 off Oprah Winfrey, because we had a bet, as people know about on Twitter, that I'd get to interview you before she did. Michael, thank you very much. You may want to